and let's so this SSP can once, and the SSP two. Okay, SSP ones can be structure. Okay, can be structure. Okay, and then strategy, and then the performance. Okay, so let's look at these two area. Okay, so let's look at these two area and see how you can derive your competitive strategy. And inductively and deductively. Okay, and I do want to tell you, by now you think I hope that you should know what is inductive and what is deductive. So if I say which one is more inductive, which one is more deductive, then or both, both can be inductive, can be deductive, right? Depends on how you make use of it. So it's not a simple, straightforward questions. And even I tell you the ability to apply, which is your capability, which is your competency, which is different. So strategic capabilities and is different from one organization to another organization. And so even though you read the same textbook, it comes out totally differently, because different organizations, when you look at these things, one can apply, one cannot apply, one can apply as a novice, one can apply as a professional, one can apply as an expert. So it's a different level of maturity, the competencies, right? When you study competency, not only at the knowing what is the competency, but you also know the level of competencies. Though there is a y-axis, which is the competencies level, and the x-axis, which is the scope. So types or natures of competency. So again, competency is a huge area, and it's not that straightforward. And I hope slowly you will pick up and understand all these issues, and maybe you already learned some things from your human resource development or human resource management. Okay, so back to the SSP1. SSP1s, because the two X are similar, so you can start with the structures and then move to the strategy. Structures means this. It means that if you really want to understand the competitive strategy, if you really want to understand the competitive strategies, you really have to understand the industry structure. So industry structure, the structures of where you are in, it's very important. For example, if you talk about the industry, let's talk about you. Next time, if you go and maybe most of you has already gone through the internship. I'm not so sure how many of you have gone through internship, but assume you have gone through internship. So probably you will be going to internship. When you go to internship, what do you do? What's competitive strategy would you do? And if you want to be competitively positioning yourself in the company, and so that you can, get impressions and probably earn a good career. Probably they will invite you to stay. Maybe they say, well, it looks so good. I supposed to make you to be a manager. Please, when you finish, I will employ you as a manager because you're so unique. So what kind of competitive strategy would you do? It's no different, right? There's no difference between you in that career and comparing with the strategy in our business, in industry, right? So, but again, why we all studying again and again and again? I do not know. We are engineering background, trained engineering. We have certain rules and certain engineering laws and certain engineering theories, such as in heat transfers or in thermodynamics, and then in the machinery designs or in the robotic designs, kinematics, dynamics. We have to learn, but as soon as we learn it, it's finished. Okay. But in business, you repeat again and again and again and again and again in a different, every course repeat again and again and again and again and again and again and again in different area. So I do not know the reasons, but maybe just but I know for sure is to give you a different perspective, so that because business a different perspective, and so that you can, just like when I talk about the engines, last time talking about the engines, and this time talk about the engines, totally different scenario depending on what kind of context and applications that we talk about. And so again, that's why this is one of the reasons I think probably you need to repeat again and again. In structure, so when you go into a company has certain structure. It could be the structures of your culture. It could the way the do things, and from there the culture detects the way you're supposed to do things, right? As I already told you. Why is that so? Because competitive strategies already demonstrated clearly from the engines of the aircraft, the cultural schools, right? Okay, right? Cultural skills. So the cultures detects your strategy, right? The culture detects your strategy, and that is the structure. Environment detects the strategy. Environment, industry structures. Okay, so the power, the the threat, the threat of entries, um, the threat of substitutes and the internal rivalries. All these are competitive arenas. Okay, these are places where you need to position yourself just like in the company. And so not much influence by the suppliers and not much influence from the customers. These are just the stakeholders that you have to sort of that you have to creatively influence them so that they will be a partner with you or they will buy your product. But then competitively competitions arenas, your threat of entries and your internal rivalries and your substitution, and that zone is very serious zone. Okay, that so anyway, the structures of industries or cultures will detect your gives you the conditions and to propose strategies, and then if you react to this well, then for sure your performance will be okay. But if you do not react to this well, your performance will not be okay. And this things is artificial intelligence. This is input, this is output. So the artificial intelligence, I have the input, I have the output, and I can take all the inputs of all the structures, I can take all the outputs of all the performances, and I can go to the computer, and the artificial intelligence will be able to tell me what strategies would you take in order to propose. And that is the places where the artificial intelligence and smart robots, the robotics take over human being. That time will come. So when the times come, because the robots becomes and the artificial intelligence becomes more and more smart. So starting from artificial, artificial, and then slowly to be real intelligence. That is the times that they will take over us because they will input, output, and come up with all kind of strategy. At this moment, we still need to feed information to them, right? There could be couple of strategy, for them to learn. It could be needs-based strategy, variety-based strategy, a combination of need-based strategy. So we have to input all kind of strategies, right? Offensive strategy, defensive strategy, hybrid strategy, blue ocean strategy, differentiation strategy, cost leadership strategy, or the logistics and services and brand and whatever, the affiliation, maybe sometimes we have to talk about the re-engineering, maybe we talk about repositioning and all this, all kind of strategies. And the artificial intelligence will start to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And the more they learn, the more they become smart. And the more they become smart, the more they learn again. And eventually, my God, we cannot deal with the artificial intelligence and they control the world. So, Steve Hawking, professors, right, and told us and said that who is our God, who is our heaven's God, who is our God to that will control us, that we will be slave to them, and that is the artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is our God, okay. So I take these opportunities of the lectures to give you some thinking process. Not necessarily we need to go through all the slides because they're all repetitions in different way. And if you thinking properly and can think, you can basically take it as a references and see which page can help you get some more ideas to help you solve your reports. And the reports I will become more and more challenged so that you can I need you to make presentation, but in the first 2-3 reports very simple one, and not much you can present because it's all reading and digesting, and unless I give you a report that has no solution, you tell me the solution, then I can listen. And if you make a copy, everybody's is you copy me, I copy you. That means there's no need to present because I listen to one and the rest is all the same. Okay, that is not a right way. But in this in the many especially in China's the students do not have seems to have the copy the attitudes of copying. And so when we can listen to 20 students or 20 differently. So for example, if we can go to the but I hope that this thing the copying presentation and copying is should not be your territory, the cultures. Otherwise, well, not only that we are tired of listening, but also most importantly is the when you go to the companies and when you are doing this imitable copying things and you're not you have no idea what is going on, because differentiation no, cost leadership no, and strategy no, so nothing is there. Okay, so this very very important. And you can see that everybody's are very different, and we can listen to them differently, and none of them are the same. And so this one talk about Guangdong in the Guangdong's areas, okay, and in Guangdong 省深圳市旅游策划 this Shenzhen's area. And I asked them that if you want to develop Shenzhen, what would you do? And so they presents to me the 4 P's of the Shenzhen, and then slowly move into what things they need to do from the tourist perspective. And so there are not tourism students, but they are BA students, but force them to do these things. And different students talk about different things. This one is 日本旅游, traveling to Japan. And again, and this is all one by one students, okay, and all one by one students, okay, and we are talking about one by one students and no groups, okay. Chinese students, they willing to, and this is only took 1 week, okay, and 1 week times they are able to do so many 纸风山, okay, and this is the different 纸风山's contributions in terms of how they can look at the SWOT analysis, and then from there this is SWOT analysis, and from there and then slowly they turn into this market analysis, and then from there they look into the marketings and things like that. Okay, so it's very, and everyone is different. Everyone is different, right? Everyone's like 北谷山水镇, and and everything is different. And so that means that how do they do? So they look at the structures of the places. Their SWOT is a structure, and the situation is the structures, the scenery, the ecological resources, the structures. From there, they can develop the strategy in order to allow the performance to happen. So XSP, okay, 1. And this one, you can look at SSP1, or you can also look at it as the a second, some maybe the things computer was still running. Okay, the SSP 2 is about the competitive strategy. You come up with a competitive strategy, and from there helps you to in order to execute the strategy, you need to have a good structure. Okay, so the structures, like this structure is internal structures, not the outside structure. Okay, and so when the strategy will help you to know what kind of competencies that you need to develop, and what kind of resources that you need, and system that you need to build. So the structures, internal structures of all the processes and systems and resources are being integrated that allow you to, or such as value chain structure. Okay, structures with better and deliver the performances. So we can don't know what happens. Something is stuck. Okay, wait a second. The computer seems to stuck. Okay, let's back again, and today is Chinese New Year's Eve, and see whether we can finish within 2 hours. Because just want to bring you back to the strategy concept. Not only the competencies but also the strategy, right? It's very important. Okay, and so the competitive strategy you come up with will gives you the directions and focus for you to redesign your whole company's systems and structures. Okay, systems and structures. So you talk about structures and systems, right? And competencies is the direction, is part of the structures, human resource structures or human resource systems or things like that, or human resource infrastructures. Or you can have the structure, strategy, and structures and performance, right? So SSP. So this one can be SSP, SSS, P. Is no issue. Okay, so meaning the structure of the outside, structure, strategy, and structure inside, and then performance, right? So this kind of simple understanding is very important. And we already know that the system is goal oriented. So whichever systems structures that you design in an organization is goal oriented. So you gotta be very clear, and it's influenced by the environment. So you gotta have a dialectical dialogue with the environment, and then it's influenced by the past. So this is culture issue and the goal orientations and future will. So by understanding and take on your past and with a clear direction, and your business systems by having a dialogue with the environment, and will be able to give you the future. And this time with the artificial intelligence taking place, the newly emerged artificial intelligence taking place, the dialogue can be taken over by or responsible by the artificial intelligence. So the sense and sees can be responsible by the artificial intelligence in that sense. So when we look into business, this is very important. And the context, we talk about triologies of the strategies and context. There are a lot of issues on context. Okay, and the context, like it could be the government policies is clear or not clear. So if it's not clear, what are you gonna do? If it's clear, what are you gonna do? And that is called context. Okay, or the in general the VUCA Context is volatility, so things are very volatile, unpredictable, or uncertain. Complexities means that you have not much understanding of the exact structure, so the industry is pretty complicated, more than complicated, and chaotic and crisis prone, and nowadays the world seems to be on this sea, and there are still certain shape of predictabilities, provided that the complexities are not so complex, and ambiguity, some unclear thing issue. And so, for in view of this VUCA work, what kind of the strategy or conduct strategy that you need to take, at least at the conduct sense, meaning the strategic directional sense. So number one is that you got to be expert in sensing and seizing. So ambidexterity, okay? I got to be able to sense and seize, okay? So getting information to reduce the uncertainty that is seized, right? So you have to sense and you have to seize, and you have to seize by proceeding further to reconfiguration of your resources, or integrating all your resources, or whatever. And that means you got to be able to develop expertise with a solid knowledge, so that you can reduce your complexities to some executable sense. And you need to continue to learn, and then inductively and deductively, and so that you get more and more evidences and learn, become smarter and smarter, and so you get to understand the patterns, and in that the induction and deductions will help you reduce your ambiguity. So things that you do not know, you can go to the hypothetical text card and a learning text card, and engaging your business model, implement your business model, and seize the data again. And so learn heuristically to reduce the ambiguity. And well, to some extent, sometimes the world is very volatile. It could be in the sense of the emergencies. It could be in the sense of the customers' demands. It could be in the sense of engineering changes or requirement changes by the government, or whatever. And in that sense, you have to protect against the volatilities by your engineering work, or by some extra resources, maybe not from your company. Maybe you can collaborate in partnership with other companies, so that when you lack of these resources, you can get your resources from other people. And so these are all strategy. These are all strategy that can help you. But if you do those strategy in such a way that can be very much differentiated from the world, and that competitive strategies come into the shape. So competitive strategy is your ability of these four strategy and think harder in every direction. Okay, and especially, for example, Part2 has very, very clear strategy, competitive strategies, and Alibaba has very clear strategies on gathering information to reduce uncertainty, and this they're exploiting technologies and artificial intelligence nowadays. So this gather information to reduce uncertainty is a very generic, just like cost leadership. Differentiations are very generic because it's so general. It gives you a space for thinking differently from other people's, and so this kind of words can stimulate your thoughts, but you should think differently than other people. But they are very important strategic domain. Okay, but if you want to make it competitive, make sure that you are in alignment with what I have just spoken and shared with you. Okay, so we are entering into a period of post-COVID-19 VUCA, and this VUCA context is the strategy which we need to deal with it and cope with it, and utilizing our business models. As I already told you that activities are very important, and strategies are governed by theory. So you have to learn a lot of theory of ambidexterity, theory of the competitive strategies by the Michael Porter's, and theory of resource-based build, VRIO, variable rare. So your resources and your strategies are the things that drive your strategies, or things that makes the strategies happen, or the things that be a part of your strategies are VRIO, variable and rare, not easy to copy, and gets organized and things like that. Now, when you move into the action level, when you move into the action level, when you move into the action level, if you want to be competitive, that means that you need to make in such a way that people are not easy to knock you down. So VRIO in your business model, and be competitive, and uniquely different. There are three important criteria. That your business models, that you need to fulfill. So you have learned a lot on your business model canvas, and simply brainstorming. But have you realized that it is a lot that you need to look at it? Have you looked at the VRIO perspective of a business model? Have you looked at the competitive positioning of your business model? Have you looked into the asset liabilities and the cash flows dynamics of your business models, and sustainability of your business model, and artificial competitive advantages of your business model? Have you looked at the concept of your business model? Have you looked into the mental models of your business model? And this is a huge issue. Okay, so but in this case, I only want to give you three operational competitive criteria from this operational criteria perspective, from the competency perspective, from the competitive competency perspective, or from the competitive advantage perspective. Number one, every activities got to reinforce each other's. So you have business model, which has the supply side activity, demand side activities, and financial side activity, and all this gotta be reinforcing each other. So this should help this help this. Okay, and that is called fit. So you gotta fit it got to fit together. So everyone's got to fit is different from slightly from reinforcing. Fit is the your business model fitting the requirements of your external environment. So meaning the SWOTs are fitting together. Okay, and the reinforcing the activities are reinforcing each other. And the third thing is the optimizing. So once you're able to fit that, it help you to a position in the market, and then you reinforce your activity, and then the next thing you try to go into detail and be cost leadership and be differentiation optimization. Okay, optimization. You could optimize through exploratory artificial intelligence to identify the real unique things that the customers really love it, and optimize it and make it happen. Not in the cost leadership sense, but in the differentiation sense. So optimization doesn't mean cost leadership, doesn't mean minimization. It could mean market expansion. Okay, so this is very important points for optimizations, and there are a lot of algorithms for optimization. You could have non-linear optimization. You could have a linear optimization. So you could have gone through some simple simplex linear programmings and or things like that. So, okay, there are a lot of different ways, and Takuchi total quality management also give you a way to do optimize parameters through combinations of experimentation. So you can have this condition plus this electronics circuits operating condition, or maybe in this pneumatics pressures and velocities or things like that, and then you combination and see which one should be the best criteria or parameters that you need to design your product, and then from there you optimize it in such a way that its reliability goes up, things like that. So it really depends, but the concept is general. Okay, but it depends on context that you can get into the detail. So again, three things: fit, reinforcing, optimizing. So fit, reinforcing, optimizing activity in making the unique whole difficult to copy. So this is VRIO. Okay, V is already in the fit. Continuity. Okay, things are your business model continuation. That is it continues from the past to the present to the futures, and it continues to be able to do these things or do that things and create positive sums game, meaning that everybody wins, not I lose, you win. So your business model, your business strategies should be able to make your suppliers win together with you. You're not supposed to make the suppliers lose, right? I mean, bargaining power of supplier, we do not look at it as the negative things. If you look at it as a negative thing, that means, how do I do to make the bargaining power of the suppliers coming down, so that I can get a cheaper price, and that is win loss. Okay, that is negative sum game. So even though the same thing, the same Michael Porter's forces, people look at it as negative sum games and positive sum game. Positive sum game is I can do it in a constructive way, that the supplier constructively and and borrow into my ideas, love my ideas, and willing to be a part of my ideas. When they are willing to be a part of our teams and our ideas, they don't negotiate. They are willing to be a part of it. Okay, and we will not let them die. We will let them win, but they will not negotiate in that bargaining price. So how many of you, how many of us, let me ask, how many